If YouTube showed you this video, it's time you go on a carnivore diet. And if you thought about it for a while, but you aren't sure if you should actually eat this weird way, I just want to tell you, you are not alone. I get it. Because I thought about this for a long time too. It seems so weird, so unbalanced, so risky even, and nobody in its right mind would do this, right? But after more than a year, I finally did it. I committed. And I'm very pleasantly surprised. It's easier and more effective than I thought it would be, even though I did make some small adjustments to make it even better for me. And the truth is, after trying this, I won't ever follow the traditional food pyramid recommended by the government again. So in this video, I want to tell you about my journey on the carnivore or ketovore diet so far, what I've learned, how it went, some personal bonus tips, and after watching this, I think you'll be ready to finally try it out yourself as well. But as always, this is not medical advice, guys. So how were those first few weeks? That's what I'll tell you in this video, but first, how did I even get to this point and why am I doing this? I think this is quite interesting because I don't do it for weight loss. And to have this make sense, I want to go a few years back. Because not that long ago, I would have never expected that I would ever eat this way. I was never a vegan, but about 5 years ago, my attitude towards food and diet was more like, I don't care. If you would have talked to me back then, I would have told you that I really will always eat what I want to eat. As long as I'm not fat, I'm never gonna count calories, I'm not gonna track my macros, I also won't track my micros or eat some super weird way, because I hated that. I didn't want to restrict myself and I wanted to enjoy all the good foods the world has to offer. And I still have that mindset to some extent, but of course my attitude changed a bit since then. Generally speaking, I thought, as long as I'm not fat or extremely skinny, I'll just eat whatever I want. Because I loved food. And I loved good food. But at that time I also got into the gym, worked out, tried to build some muscle, and I did realize eventually that I needed to take care at least of protein. So protein was my introduction to macros and micros and paying attention to my diet in general. So when I was trying to slowly build some muscle, I introduced protein shakes, I focused more on protein, I wanted to have protein in every meal, and I didn't care too much about it, but it still made me pay more attention to what I eat. Then slowly over time, over multiple years, I kind of got slowly more and more interested in nutrition and diet. I started to eat with more variety, I somewhat tracked my protein intake, and I did experiment with bulking and cutting. Now it probably didn't work too well, but it also was never like a huge focus of mine. But then at some point I stumbled over low carb and the carnivore diet. At first it was the low carb or keto diet that I learned a lot about myself, but eventually I heard about the carnivore diet once or twice, saw Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan talk about it, and I got more interested. And this was when nutrition became a huge focus of my life. And my interest grew quite quickly. Personally, I had 5 big reasons why I found the carnivore diet so interesting. Now, probably the biggest reason why I found it so interesting was energy. So many people on the carnivore diet reported that they had so much more stable energy. And I thought, that sounds good. Who wouldn't want that? Having more energy just by changing what you eat? I definitely want that. And as I reveal later in this video, it works. Second big reason was the mental clarity. I never felt like this is a huge struggle for me, but at the same time I always thought my clarity, my thoughts, my brain could probably work a bit better. And so many people on the keto, but also on the carnivore diet, report that they have better mental clarity, that they have no brain fog. And of course, again, getting that just by changing what you eat definitely sounds good to me. Third reason, which was definitely huge for me, is better skin. To be fair, at the beginning I didn't even pay attention to this. I didn't really notice this was a benefit at first. But as I learned more about the diet and I noticed that so many people have better skin, I started to think, yeah, I want that. Again, by just changing what you eat, count me in. Let's go! Because especially a few years ago, I really struggled with acne. My skin definitely still does not look perfect in my opinion, but for one, it got better. And also, especially in the last few weeks, when I went on the keto and then the carnivore diet again, I really noticed beneficial change. My skin is improving. 100%, but more on that later. Fourth reason was mood or mental health. Of course, I will always take that. When people feel better on a diet, I'm thinking, sure, why not me too? And lastly, I like meat. That's just it. If I can eat only meat, I thought, that sounds much better than eating only veggies, only fruit, only whatever food group. If anything, then probably meat. Yeah, sorry vegans. And because of all those 5 big things that made me so interested in this diet and I wanted to find out more, I eventually also tried it myself for the first time. So about 1 year ago, I tried the keto diet for the first time. Did this for about a month, not 100% perfect, but still pretty solidly, and I definitely noticed quite a few benefits, but that's a topic for a different video. I went off of low carb for some time and then eventually said, I'm gonna try this carnivore diet now. So around the end of last year, I tried carnivore for the first time. And to be honest, it didn't really last a long time because I don't think I was convinced enough yet. I didn't have big enough reasons and there wasn't a burning desire to actually commit to this. And if you don't have an appealing reason or a burning desire to actually try this right now, or you're still very skeptical, I don't want to discourage you, but you might find yourself struggling to actually stick to this as well. Because at the beginning, first time, it's not gonna be easy. Although it gets easier and I have a few tips for you later as well. But I tried it only for about 3 to 4 weeks maybe. Again, not 100% perfect, but I did notice the typical low carb benefits that I had when I went on the keto diet as well. But still, like I said, I wasn't too convinced. I didn't have big enough reason and I kind of stopped it again. Some time passed, I had to deal with a breakup, I lost my job, I finished uni and a few things in my life demanded my attention and I had to deal with them first. But eventually I decided to go keto again. And I was really looking forward to it. So about 1.5 months ago, I finally decided to go low carb again. I liked the benefits the first time and I wanted to do this again to eventually transition to carnivore, to give this a proper chance to really commit to it for some time and not just stop after 2 weeks again. So I went on the keto diet again. And this time around it was much easier. I knew what to prepare for, I knew what's coming, I knew what to focus on to not feel low energy, get a keto flu and other things like that. But it was easy, it was smooth and I noticed the benefits quite quickly, only after a few days actually. And I really enjoyed that. I sticked to it mostly. I did have a cheat meal or cheat day once in a while, but for the most part I sticked to it. And I already noticed some of the benefits I'll talk about in a minute. More energy, more mental clarity and more. But as I just said, this was only to transition into a carnivore diet later. So then about 4 weeks ago, I transitioned into the carnivore diet again.
Here we go again.
So now I'm gonna tell you 5 big things about my carnivore experience so far and then address some of the risks as well and then leave with a conclusion and my final feedback after about a month on this diet and what I would recommend to you. So, my carnivore experience so far. First of all, I want to tell you that I haven't been 100% carnivore for all this time. I did fall off a few times. Nothing too big, nothing too crazy, and I'm not really bothered too much. But as I'll address in a minute, that's what I'm gonna focus on now. Sticking to it with no excuses. Unless, of course, I notice some drawbacks, then I will do something about it. But overall, I would say I was about 90% carnivore. I had 2 donuts, 1 pizza, a kebab, but mostly that's basically about it. And here are a few things I've learned. For one, it's true, at least, of course, for me. I'm only gonna talk about my experience now. I did have more energy, I did need less sleep, I had more time in the day, my mental clarity improved, my mood definitely improved as well. This and the energy probably the most. I didn't crash during the day as much. I needed less caffeine. I got a bit more productive as well. And my poops are still fine. Yeah, I'm not constipated. People still believe that, but yeah, you don't need fiber that much apparently. And this is where I want to give you a few bonus tips. For one, go keto first. I think this helped me so much. Because when you go from a standard Western diet straight onto the carnivore diet, it's gonna be very tough. I really believe that. I've tried almost a year ago. But when I went low carb around April and I kind of got used to eating low carb, to using fat as my energy source, it was way easier to to go on the carnivore diet. So that's one big thing I would recommend probably everybody, because also for many people just keto or low carb in general will already do the job. For most people, keto will already give you more mental clarity, will make you more productive, have more energy, be less tired, don't crash in the afternoon, and maybe even treat some of your illnesses. Or also again for weight loss. Maybe all you need is keto, and that's perfectly fine. Personally, I don't think plants are the enemy. I don't really fear plants. I just think maybe by excluding them from our diet, especially vegetables, maybe we can feel better. Maybe, I don't know. That's why I'm trying this. That's what I'm trying to find out. Then, of course, drink enough water, have enough fat, and have enough salt. This is going to be essential for good digestion, because when your digestion suffers as you go carnivore, it's probably because one of those three things. Maybe your body actually needs fiber, maybe, but the evidence is still kind of weak and there are some mixed results, mixed studies. So I'm not really convinced you actually need fiber. You literally can't digest it at all. And is it really gonna help your digestion so much? Just by going through your body? There are mixed results again. And so many people on the carnivore diet do perfectly fine without the fiber. Me too. So salt, water and fat, that's what I would focus on first. And this is also going to be very important for just high energy and feeling good. If you lack one of those, being on carnivore or just low carb in general will be way less effective. And then also, I think it can be beneficial for some to allow yourself some wiggle room. So instead of committing to 100% carnivore, at least right away, maybe just say 80% carnivore or 90% carnivore. That's what I did. And I still can occasionally enjoy some veggies, a pizza or some sweet treat that I probably shouldn't eat. But again, I'm not doing this for an illness or losing weight or whatever, just to feel better. And I personally will allow myself some cheat meals. You may not agree with this, but I don't care. It's for me, and maybe you need this too. I don't recommend to have cheat meals, but maybe this will help you to actually stick to it for a longer time and still get almost all of the benefits without failing after a few days and then just stopping it completely. So then the third thing I wanted to talk about is days off, but I just addressed that. Maybe it's good for you to have some days off to allow yourself some carbs on Sunday, for example, or once every 2 weeks or whatever. Especially if you, like me, do it for just improved performance or better mood or something like that. Fourth thing is very important, is accountability. You can see it in the back. I have a habit list over there, and one of the boxes is 80% carnivore. I just tick that every day, and recently it went up to 90% carnivore, and I think that's what I'm gonna try to stick for the whole of June. But having that habit list over there that's holding me accountable was really important, even though even better would be to have a person to hold you accountable or just some way to make sure you actually stick to it. And then my current focus right now, like I just said, is going to be sticking to it. I probably won't commit to 100% carnivore, at least not yet, but I will definitely try to stick to 90% carnivore. I will try to do this for about 30 days, and if it works well, of course, even longer, but just 30 days, 90% carnivore, after already doing this for about 4 weeks with a few cheat meals and stuff like that. I think that's gonna give me a good foundation. And before I give you my final conclusion and a challenge for you as well, I just very quickly want to talk about cancer, diabetes, heart disease, because of course that's a big topic around the carnivore diet. I'm not your doctor, so none of this is recommendation, advice, etc. But I personally am not worried. If I stay in shape, if I work out regularly, if I get sun regularly, if I don't smoke, etc. I'm almost 100% sure that if my life in general is quite healthy, that carnivore itself will definitely not give me a heart attack, cancer or whatever. I'm still learning about all this. I already read a few books on this topic and I would recommend for you to do the same, especially if you're still unsure and you have those concerns. The Big Fat Surprise is a very good one. Lies My Doctor Told Me is also a book I would recommend. And I'm just not worried because we ate this way since the dawn of humanity. We ate meat. It's not a new invention like canola oil, which suspiciously rises in consumption alongside with heart disease, cancer, etc. But surely it's the meat's fault, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna go in depth here because this video is not about the concerns, But personally, I'm not too worried. I've read many studies on the topic, a few books, listened to many experts talk about this. And again, if the rest of your lifestyle is at least somewhat healthy, you don't have to worry. At least I don't. I mean, who do you trust? The people who recommend you eat no eggs because it's so unhealthy? Or Vince Gironda, who tells you to eat up to 36 eggs a day? Now, of course, this is more a joke and this is a bit extreme, okay? But I think you do know that there are other things in life, like obesity, like smoking, that actually lead to heart disease, cancer, etc. And not the meat we ate since the dawn of humanity, while some groups of people still mainly eat meat, like the Maasai, like the Inuit, who are way healthier than the average Western person and who don't struggle with cancer, diabetes, heart disease, etc. But at this point this video could get way too long. I'm gonna cut it off here. I might do a full video about the risks of carnivore or low carb in general. But if you want to see that, just leave a comment. In the end, of course, you do you. It's your choice whether you do this diet. And if you do, I hope your life improves. I'm going to make videos that can help you in that time. So if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a like. And of course, feel free to subscribe for more. But that too is always going to be up to you. If you feel somewhat ready for it, just try it for 30 days, maybe 90 if you really want to give it a chance, and then you can still go back. Now eat your eggs, have a great day, and bye.